Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you a few MATLAB programs that could be interesting to you. One of them, or two of them I would say, are related to a question asked by one of my students in the programming class about creating a plot of, let's say, sine function or any function where the color of the plot gradually changes. Okay, and here I show that to you using both a scatter plot and using the regular plot command. For a scatter, it's very easy. So here, let's say I generate 100 data between 0 and 10 and then create sine function. So for a scatter plot, you can pass x and y, the size of the marker, and then you need to pass it a color vector, okay? And this color vector is going to be the same size as x and y. So here you see between 0 and 1, I have created as many data as the length of x. And these data are all between 0 and 1 to define a color. And I'm making sure my markers are, which are circles in this case, because I have not specified any shape other than circle, are filled. So I'm gonna have as many colors as the number of x or y, again, because each of my points, x and y, I want them to have a different color. And those colors are gradually changing from 0 to 1. And then I use my color map jet. That's one of my favorite color maps. And then I put it with the scatter plot on and then show it for 5 seconds before I go to the next one. So let's take a look here. So you can see this is scatter plot. There we go. Look. See, that's a sine function, and you see color is gradually changing from dark blue to kind of dark red, I would say. This is the jet color map. And it's a very beautiful, gradually changing color scatter plot of sine function. Now, with the plot command, it's not as easy. You need to use a loop, okay, because the plot command does not have the option C for colors. So what I do here, the data is the same, X, Y, and C, but here, this is what I need to do. I create a loop, and then as I go to each data point and I plot it, and I cannot plot a single data point, so here I create a line between one data point and the next data point. So you see here I'm passing it x of the current I to x of the next I. So for example, when I is 1, this is going to be x1 and x2. This is going to be y1 and y2. So basically I'm creating lines between consecutive points. So between each two consecutive points I draw a line, and for color of that I use this variable color, which I'm constantly changing in the loop. Now, how do I change it in the loop? Here, you see, I say color is CMap, and CMap, I already chose it to be jet color map, okay? I'm going to that jet color map, and then what? I read a data out of it from at the location color index. Now, how do I get color index? Look. I say this is round of CII times number of columns minus 1 plus 1. What is this? Well, if you look at this number of colors, that's the number of colors in this CMap jet, okay? So it's the number of colors in it. And so here, if I want to go to the ith color, right? What I need to do is I multiply the CII, and what is CII here? Well, remember, I defined C to be what? To be the number of data points between 0 to 1 with length of x. So length of x here is 101, so this x is going to be the numbers between 0 and 1, 100 data or 101 data points. So this C is going to be like what? This is going to be like 0, correct, and then like 0.01 and then 0.02 all the way to 1, correct? This is your C. Agree? This is your C. So look what I'm doing. And the number of colors, let me show you that. Let me run this initial portion so you can see it. So let me run this part and then this part. Okay, so let me show you that. So now, if you look at the number of colors, this guy, let's see how many it is. 256 different colors that exist in this jet color map, right? That is my number of colors. So let me explain what does this line do for you. So when I becomes 1, it goes to C number 1, which is basically 0, right? It grabs that 0, multiplied by 256 minus 1, so that just becomes 0, plus 1, so it becomes 1, and then rounded, which again is 1, and so color index is going to be 1. So you go basically to what? You go to the matrix of CMAP and look at row 1. And row 1 has the information for color number 1, which is like dark blue. So you get that dark blue and here use it to the plot. When I changes becomes 2, what happens? You get C number 2, which is 0.01. So you get what? You get 0.01 multiplied by what? Again, this number is always 255. And then plus 1. What is this going to be? Well, this is going to be like 2.55, correct? And you multiply by 255, and then plus 1 is 355. So you jump to what? You jump to basically 4. So here you're going to go to row 4. And then you keep going, okay? And ultimately here you're gonna get 100 and what? 100. You're gonna get 100 different colors out of the 256 rows of the color map, CMAP, and each time a different color is gonna be assigned to the plot, and then you create X label, Y label, and pause. So let me show you this to you. You run this part for you. Here we go. Okay, and again, you can see that the color is beautifully changing based on the color map jet, and it is going from one side to the other. So again, because I don't have this option C that I can simply pass to my scatter plot, I need to change this color value and constantly change it in the for loop to get that done. And you might say, well, is this C, does this C have anything to do with this C? No. Here C is a real color. Here C is, it does not have anything to do with color. So it's just like some temporary value that you use to go from one row to some other row here, okay? So this C, if you don't like this C, I would call it something else. So I just call it row value or something like that, right? And I can do the same thing here. Okay, it has nothing to do with the real color. It's this variable color that is important. That's what this guy is. Okay, that's the importance of that one. And you see here is the result. Now the last question that actually came up, and it wasn't in my class, but somebody asked me, and I really love this question. They said, could you make a star in SolidWorks that twinkles? Like the twinkle, twinkle, little star. Can you do that? Can you make a star that kind of goes bright and then goes a little bit dim and then goes bright and dim and kind of twinkles? Yes. How do you do that? So here, I create some axis and turn off the values on the axis by axis off. I decide where my star gonna be. So here I put it in the middle because my limits are 0 to 10. So I put it at 5, 5 exactly in the middle of the frame. And first I start with intensity of 1, which is like the brightest. And I say, let's have 200 twinkles. So I go from 1 to the number of twinkles, and then I change my star intensity. Okay, initially it's 1, but I keep changing it. And you might say, do you need this line? Not really, because this is not a while loop, it's a for loop. So, and I don't need it to start the loop. So really, if you want, you can just simply get rid of that, because right in the beginning of the code, the beginning of the for loop, you assign it, so you don't really need that initialization. And so here, I let my star intensity to change. So I make it 0.4 plus 0.6 times rad. So this is just going to be a number between 0 and 1, not really 0 and 1, between 0.4 and 1, because this 0.4 is always there. Okay, so it means this is what in the range 0.4 to 1, so you never make it like really 0, and you pass that star intensity to your scatter plot command. So here I'm doing a scatter plot with a single point at the star x and the star y. I make sure the marker is a pentagram, which is the shape of a star, and I make sure the star is big, so I use 5000 for the size data. And I here made it blue. Now typically stars are like white, but again, I need to have my background be all black. So I can have it white, and I can do that, but here I have a blue star shining against a white background. And then the important part is this guy here, marker face alpha, which basically controls the transparency or the opacity of the plot. And for that, I pass this random number to it. And then I do a pause between the twinkles so you can see it, and then I clean up the figure or the axis, and at the end, when I'm done, I just simply close it. Okay, so let's go ahead and here do this. Okay, you can see, right? It is changing. That might not be. Sometimes it is because it's a random number. Okay, if you want, you can just go in a sequence. If you want, you can go in a sequence and have it kind of go between specific numbers predetermined, but this randomness kind of makes it a little bit nicer. And if you want it, the maximum and minimum brightness to be quite a bit different, you can change this number. So go one, like 0.1 and 0.9. Okay, that way one of them could be quite a bit bright and transparent, one of them quite dark, right? So it's under your control. And here, if I do it again, you might see a better effect. See? Here we go. Okay. And again, the intensity is random and the opacity is random. So yes, we can do that. And again, if we want, we can make the whole background black and make this white, but here I just did it this way. So hopefully this was useful and fun to you, and you learned how to work with the marker face alpha command and create pentagrams, and maybe use your for loops to perform some tasks for you, including changing the color continuously or making something blink or so, or twinkle. So hopefully it was useful to you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.